The weight set. My older brother passed away recently. He had just turned 40, so it was unexpected, too soon for him to go. The doctors said it was a sudden heart attack. He'd been neglecting his health for years, letting it slowly decline like so many of us do when life gets busy. I'm no exception. But what haunts me most is that he was trying to turn things around. He'd just bought a used weight set on Craigslist and was determined to get back in shape. He died using that bench press. If only he'd started sooner, I thought, over and over. It's become my mantra, my motivation to take better care of myself before it's too late. After the funeral, I helped clean out his garage and basement. His wife was too heartbroken to deal with it, and she told me I could take anything of his. She couldn't bear to look at his things. When I got to the basement, I found his weight set. There were dumbbells in pairs from 10 pounds all the way up to 70, neatly lined up. The bench press with its barbell and metal-free weights sat in the center. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was in good shape for a used set. I decided to take them. After all, I'd made a vow to get back in shape, inspired by my brother. It seemed fitting to use his equipment to honor that promise. At first, I just left the weights scattered in my basement. I hadn't had time to organize them. But the next day, when I went down to work out, they were neatly arranged in their spots. Huh, I muttered to myself. Did my girlfriend tidy up down here? When I asked her, she looked at me like I was crazy. Why would I touch your weights? I didn't even know you had them, she said. I shrugged it off, though it left me puzzled. Maybe it was my brother, I joked, forcing a chuckle to lighten the mood. He'd always been the neat one, after all. But then it kept happening. I'd leave the weights lying around after a workout, too tired to put them away. And every time I'd find them back in their spots the next morning. My girlfriend insisted she wasn't doing it, and the thought crept into my mind again. What if it really was my brother? The idea should have scared me, but it didn't. It felt comforting. He and I grew up together, just the two of us. No other siblings. He was always pushing me to work out, always by my side. If he was still here, maybe he'd be there to spot me when I needed it most. I stuck to my workout plan religiously. It wasn't anything extreme, but it was enough to leave me sore the next day. I wanted to push myself, to honor my brother's memory. One night I decided to go heavier on the bench press. I loaded the barbell with 250 pounds, more than I'd lifted in a long time. It didn't have a safety guard and I didn't have a spotter, but I was confident I could manage. The first rep was tough, the second tougher. By the third I was struggling. The fourth rep had my muscles burning, my breath coming in sharp gasps. I paused, holding the bar above me, and closed my eyes to focus. I needed every ounce of strength for the final rep. I lowered the bar to my chest, and as I began to push it up, a sharp pain stabbed through my left chest and arm. I gritted my teeth, trying to ignore it, but the bar moved slower and slower. The pain grew unbearable. I couldn't do it. The bar started to fall back down. I panicked, knowing I couldn't lift it alone. I was about to let it drop onto my chest when suddenly, the weight seemed to lift. My eyes snapped open, and there he was. My brother, standing over me, spotting me just like he used to. Relief flooded through me, and I managed a weak smile. "Thanks, man," I whispered, but then I noticed something was wrong. His face, his familiar, comforting face, was twisting into a sinister grin. My heart pounded with dread as I watched him change, his features morphing into something dark, something evil. The figure above me was no longer my brother. It was a faceless, shadowy entity, its eyes glowing with malevolence. "No!" I screamed, but it was too late. The entity began pushing the bar down harder and harder. I fought with everything I had, but my strength was gone. The pain in my chest and arm intensified, and I knew this was how my brother had died. Staring up at this vile thing, helpless as it crushed the life out of him.
Thank you for listening to this terrifying twist tale. Please support this channel by liking and subscribing.